The New York State Athletic Commission has officially overturned the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight result, shaking the entire boxing world. Fans who had been calling the fight a robbery finally got what they had been screaming for. The CompuBox numbers didn't lie. Roach had outlanded Davis in total punches and jabs, exposing just how much the original decision protected Tank.
Clearly in there, man. I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the. I've been telling y'all.
WBA President Gilberto Mendoza had already made it clear that a rematch was in the works. But now, with the commission stepping in, Tank is no longer the winner. The undefeated record he had held onto for years is now gone. The backlash was immediate.
The New York State Athletic Commission is reviewing the results of the fight, and it's based on that knockdown, which is extremely important, because if that is ruled a...
Davis, who had been hinting at a rematch in May, is now being forced into one under completely different circumstances. What was supposed to be a simple title defense has now turned into damage control. His fans, who had been insisting he was the face of boxing, have been left scrambling for explanations, but Davis didn't even wait for them to make excuses. He threw out one of his own, blaming his own hairstylist for his struggles in the ring. She put grease in my... So the sub was like, you know when you're sweating and the grease comes down in your face? It burned my eyes, Davis told the crowd at the Barclays Center. But instead of sympathy, the arena erupted with boos. This is a real fact. Look at my hair. I just got my... Done. But it's all cool, man. They love you, then they hate you. Turn around and they'll love you again. That excuse didn't sit well with the boxing world. Fans immediately took to social media, clowning Tank for blaming hair grease instead of admitting that Roach had outboxed him. The memes started pouring in, with fans posting pictures of hair products, tagging Tank, and joking that Roach's real strategy was a bottle of hair oil. But it wasn't just fans who had something to say. Tank's own hairstylist, known as Leave the Brand on Instagram, fired back immediately. I did his hair Wednesday. It's Saturday. He did press, gym, and weigh-in, the stylist wrote on Instagram, calling out Tank for making excuses. That's no excuse. How much grease did I use? They even posted a picture from their salon showing that there wasn't even an excess amount of product being used. Take a look around. You see an overload of grease everywhere? Newsflash, you're not. Fans started rallying behind the stylist, saying that if Tank was blaming something as small as hair grease, then he had bigger problems. Some even compared it to other classic boxing excuses, like when fighters blamed their ring walk outfits for slowing them down. But this was different. This wasn't just about an excuse. This was about a fighter who was supposed to be dominant getting exposed in a way no one expected. The overturned result has completely changed the way people see Tank. Before this, he was the guy who always got the benefit of the doubt. The guy who was supposed to be a knockout artist. The one who could never lose because the business of boxing wouldn't allow it. Now all of that is gone. The commission stepping in like this is rare. It takes a major controversy for them to erase a fighter's win and admit there was a problem. And in this case, the issue was clear. The New York State Athletic Commission admitted that they had a technical error that prevented them from reviewing the replay when they needed it.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in there. I think I was taking control.
During the round in question, following the commission's request for the replay video, there was a technical issue preventing the commission from receiving it within the allotted time for review. Therefore, the referee's in-ring decision was relied upon and the fight continued. The commission stated, but they didn't stop there. The commission is dedicated to preserving the integrity of combative sports and is committed to working with all promotions and production teams on behalf of the athletes, officials, and fans to ensure technical issues do not occur in the future that prevent the delivery of ringside instant replay feeds to the commission's officials when needed. This statement made it clear that the commission was admitting fault, but also that they weren't going to let something like this happen again.
I mean, definitely an off night for Tank, but Lamont Roach is the guy, man. He showed up, and Tank gave him a tremendous amount of respect in the fight, and we saw why. I He's a great counterpuncher. He's very high boxing IQ. He always says, I hit harder than people think. I hit harder than my record says. He stunned Tank several times. Tank looked like the guy with the...
And the way people saw it, Tank has finally been caught. The system that had protected him for so long had failed him this time, and now his biggest critics were celebrating. Then came Terrence Crawford. Crawford has never been a fan of Tank's flashy lifestyle, often criticizing him for being more about social media clout than real boxing legacy. For years, he has said that Tank was protected, avoiding the toughest competition while still being marketed as a superstar. Now, with the fight officially overturned, Crawford couldn't hold back. "This dude has been talking like he runs the sport," Crawford tweeted. Well, the sport just told him otherwise. Crawford didn't stop there. He went straight at Tank's fan base, the same people who had spent years saying that Davis was the face of boxing. All y'all talking about Tank the face of boxing? Well, the face just took an L. He wasn't lying. Tank's record, once seen as untouchable, now has a stain on it that he can't erase. And to Crawford, this is karma. He had called out Tank before for avoiding fights with Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, and now he is watching Tank take a loss against Roach, someone who wasn't even supposed to be a threat. Crawford had always felt that Tank got an easy road.
Maybe the opponent, Lamont Roach, actually got stronger moving up 5 pounds to 135 pounds. He was able to take Tank shots without ever really being in any serious trouble. That, I think, was unusual and disconcerting for Tank.
He was the fighter who had never had to take a real risk, the one who could wait for the perfect opponent while still being praised like a king. But now, with the fight overturned, all of that was collapsing. "How are you going to avoid the likes of Shakur just to get a loss against Roach?" Crawford asked. Ryan Garcia also wasted no time rubbing it in. The moment the New York State Athletic Commission overturned Gervonta Davis's draw against Lamont Roach, Ryan was already on social media letting the world know. He called it. "Told y'all he lost that fight," Ryan posted. "The commission did the right thing. Tank got exposed." Ryan and Tank have hated each other for years, or at least publicly, to keep their career going. Ever since their fight, where Tank knocked him out, Ryan has been on a mission to prove that Davis wasn't as good as people thought. Every time Tank won, Ryan had something to say, calling him protected and overrated. But now, with the commission stepping in and overturning the result, Ryan had all the ammo he needed. He wasn't done.
Tank gets a lot of criticism for not knocking Lamont out and Lamont not being a big name, so they overblow it.
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning, moving a little bit too much, but I feel
Tank fans have been lying to themselves for years, Ryan continued. Dude ain't that good. He just got saved every time he fought. Now the commission couldn't even protect him anymore. Look at my fight. There had to be something off to his advantage. Even bringing Lamont Roach up. And then came the knockout blow. Ryan posted a video of Tank taking a knee against Roach, the moment that had caused all the controversy in the first place. But it wasn't just the clip that got people talking. It was Ryan's caption, "No heart, quitter energy." Tank's biggest strength had always been his image. He was the bully, the street fighter, the guy who knocked people out. But now, he is the guy who took a knee, and Ryan was making sure the world saw it.
Like Floyd Money Mayweather, one of the greats, one of the legends, one of the GOATs said to himself, Sugar Tank Davis. So we know that Tank Davis loves to be painting his nails, wearing stilettos, wearing them purses. How many pay-per-view buys does this Roach Jr. coming up for 130? How many buys do you think this does, my brother?
I mean, 350.
Shakur Stevenson had been watching all of this unfold quietly, but once the ruling became official, he spoke up too. Shakur and Tank had been circling each other for months, throwing jabs on social media, teasing a fight that never seemed to get made. Tank called Shakur boring, while Shakur said Tank was all hype. But now, with Tank officially losing, Shakur had all the proof he needed. "Ian even gotta say much," Shakur posted. "I knew what it was. Now let's see if he still want to talk crazy."
But look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. more money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision?
I ain't gonna shit on him.
Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we gonna fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I thought Lamont won.
You thought Lamont won. Got you. I'll talk to you later, Shakur. Good luck.
Then he went live on Instagram, shaking his head at the news like he already saw it coming. "You see how the boxing gods work?" he said. "That man was out here acting like he was the boogeyman, calling me boring. But now look, he got whooped, he got dropped, and he got his W taken away." And then came the challenge, the one he had been waiting to make for months. Or maybe now he can just fight me and stop running. That was the real conversation now. With Tank's undefeated record gone, with the aura of invincibility shattered, what was next? Because now, he didn't have the same leverage. He couldn't just act like he was untouchable anymore. If he wanted to prove himself, he had to actually step up.
I'm not looking at Lamont the way that everybody else look at Lamont. Like I know Lamont is a really good fighter. I'm not. This ain't no Frank Martin. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a real good fight.
The plan is to stay calm, stay sharp, and show Davis that he's not intimidated. If Roach can do that, he's got a real shot at breaking down the walls Davis usually builds around his opponents. Gervonta Davis has been stirring up confusion lately with his unpredictable moves. For the past few months, the Baltimore native has made some eyebrow-raising comments about his career, throwing his fans into a state of uncertainty. It all started when, on Christmas Eve, Davis dropped a bombshell that had everyone questioning what was going on. Out of nowhere, he claimed that his highly anticipated showdown with Roach, which fans had been eagerly waiting for, was canceled. There was no explanation, no follow-up statement, just a social media post that left the boxing world scratching its head.
Talk to me about the mental preparation going to this fight with Lamont. Fans, they kind of sleeping on Lamont, but you know Lamont's fighting style. Y'all fought.
Yeah, people don't know him, but Lamont is a good fighter. Like he ain't no slouch. Like I fought him in the amateurs. Like
naturally, fans jumped to conclusions, speculating that it might be another one of Tank's infamous meltdowns. The unpredictability of Davis's statements hasn't been new, but this felt different. The timing was odd, and with no backup from his team or anyone else, it felt like another episode of Davis throwing a wrench into his own plans. But just when it seemed like the fight might slip through everyone's fingers, Lamont Roach and his father, Lamont SR, stepped in to clear the air. They issued statements reassuring the fans that the fight was still on track for its scheduled date. The whole situation could have easily escalated into chaos, but both fighters managed to keep the focus on their upcoming showdown. Despite the brief confusion, the momentum didn't falter, and now both Roach and Davis are fully locked in for their March 1st, 2025 bout at Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
There's a rematch clause, people, so get ready for 2 fights. But, yes, and after I beat him the second time, I probably would ask the WBA to let me go up to 140 and fight Rayo.
Roach, for his part, was just as baffled as the rest of us when the cancellation rumors started swirling. While fans on social media were panicking, Roach wasn't getting caught up in the drama. During a recent Quanda session on his YouTube channel, he addressed the situation with his usual calm demeanor. A fan asked him directly, "Why did people say the fight was canceled or you pulled out?" Roach smiled, acknowledging the question, and went on to explain his side of things. "Gervonta Davis is like a wild card," Roach said. "You never know what he's going to do next." The 29-year-old Washington native admitted that Davis's unpredictability is something he's had to learn to deal with over the years. He wasn't fazed by the rumors or the confusion. Instead, he's learned to stay focused on what he can control.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plant's wife, and say, "Who do you want next?" And Tank's going to say, "I want all those guys." And they're going to go to the press conference.
Roach has seen it all in his own journey, and he's not going to let any of Davis's eccentricities throw him off course. Roach knows Davis well enough by now to understand that Tank is his own person, and his decisions don't always make sense from the outside. Whether it's an emotional tweet or a cryptic post, Davis often keeps people guessing about his next move. Roach, however, isn't bothered by the mental gymnastics Tank puts the boxing world through. For Roach, it's business as usual. He has his own fight to prepare for, and nothing is going to distract him from that goal. The mental aspect of boxing is just as important as the physical preparation, and Roach is staying mentally sharp for his biggest challenge yet. "I don't let that stuff affect me," Roach said. "It's clear that he's not about to get wrapped up in the drama or the rumors. Instead, he's channeling all that energy into getting himself ready for what could be the fight of his life." Roach knows that beating Davis would change everything for him, his career, his life, and his legacy. But for now, he's focused on keeping his eyes on the prize, letting the noise from the outside roll off his back.
No one's been able to solve Tank Davis. What do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get the results.
Move that head, bob and weave.
As the countdown to their showdown in Brooklyn continues, it's safe to say that Roach is as locked in as ever. His camp is already underway, and he's preparing for Davis in the most professional way possible. Gervonta Davis looks sharp and ready to go, with his weight already close to fighting form. While other fighters like Keyshawn Davis seem to carry a lot of weight during training camp, Tank is staying lean and prepared. Keyshawn often looks more like a welterweight before cutting down to 135 pounds, but Tank doesn't rely on drastic weight cuts to get an advantage. He's a natural lightweight, not someone trying to game the system by shedding pounds last minute.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
On my kids, he was shaking on this thing. On my kids, he was shaking. How you gonna say his cap? And it gotta be. You gonna say his cap?
Interestingly, Tank's longtime trainer Calvin Ford hasn't been seen much lately, which has led to speculation that the two may have parted ways. Ford has been a constant figure in Tank's career for years, so his absence hasn't gone unnoticed by fans and insiders alike. Leonard Ellerby, who knows Davis well, weighed in on the situation during a conversation on The Laboratory with Plaz. Ellerby reflected on Tank's recent announcement about retiring after 3 more fights, saying he understood the mindset behind it. "I can understand where he's coming from. Things are different when you have kids. It changed your life. It completely changes your life," Ellerby said.
My whole family is from DC. My whole family, like my entire family.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
For what?
Don't bring them. I'm telling you.
They gonna celebrate with me.
Don't bring them.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
pops.
On my kids, he was.
Ellerby also pointed out how Tank sees things differently than he did 6 or 7 years ago. If that's what he said, that he's retiring and we all heard him, no, not at all. It's never good enough what you do, and sometimes that can be frustrating. He added that the pressure from fans and the constant demand for more fights can take a toll. "There's more to life than something you do for a living. You have respect for fans who pay their money to see you fight, but you have a life outside of boxing. They want you to continue to do this, and they really don't care about your health afterward."
What? Who said that? You said what? You said what? Yeah, that's why I've been waiting for the niggas to talk. How much you want back? How much you want it back? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want back? How much you want back? Just call it out. Huh? 100? That's a bet.
The future may look bright for Tank, but it's also packed with hungry competitors. Fighters like Andy Cruz, Edwin De Los Santos, and Keyshawn Davis are all chasing him, and it's possible that Tank feels the heat. These are not easy fights, and Tank knows it. If he's confident he can beat them, he also knows those battles will be grueling. At this stage of his career, he may not want to put in the extreme effort required for such high-stakes matchups. Ellerby also shared his thoughts on the brutal nature of boxing and how it affects a fighter's long-term health.
When the people who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get them. I'm gonna beat his ass.
He can't do shit with.
For real. So y'all better be quiet.
I don't give a fuck if y'all was quiet. If y'all was loud.
He got the whole hood over there.
Like twisted up. I don't give a fuck about nothing.
Boxing is a brutal sport. You see a lot of fighters from before, they were taken advantage of in a lot of different ways. They went through a lot of health issues, a lot of permanent stuff. I understand the philosophy that you come into the sport and make your mark, and then you leave it at that. Everybody's opinion is different and everybody has different goals in life, he explained. With Davis's retirement announcement hanging over everything, the big question is whether it will actually be permanent. Ellerby hinted that Tank may not be done forever. It's hard to ignore how popular Davis is and the kind of money he can attract. If the right offer comes along in 6 to 12 months, it wouldn't be surprising to see him make a return. A massive payday could easily pull him back into the ring, especially if the opponent is someone high profile enough to make headlines.
A draw? Okay then, we got a draw. It was a draw. A draw? Y'all still trying to say I can't do this? I can't? Okay.
Roach, a current champion at 130 pounds, is stepping up in weight to take on Davis. Despite being seen as the underdog, Roach has the skills and confidence to make things interesting. Davis, who hasn't fought since his 8th round knockout of Frank Martin in June 2024, knows he can't afford to be complacent. He's promised to be in peak condition for every fight leading up to his retirement. "I'm making sure that I do what I'm supposed to so I can be the best that I can," Davis vowed. Whether he's facing Roach, Stevenson, Haney, or anyone else, Davis seems determined to go out on top. Fans will be watching closely to see if he can cement his legacy with a few more unforgettable performances before his gloves are hung up for good. How do you think it plays out with Lamont Roach? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates.